you ever been in a relationship where you felt that the relationship is rather draining you out? Have you ever been in a relationship where you doubted your own self and your own capability of even being into a relationship? Have you ever been into a relationship where you never felt yourself and you always felt there's something wrong, but you don't know what? Being in a problem is easy because at least you know you're in a problem. But being in a toxic relationship is more difficult because more than half the time you don't even realize that you are into one. Being in a toxic relationship is not always from the perspective of being into a toxic marriage or a relationship from a man-woman perspective, but a toxic relationship can be with any colleague, with any friend. So when I talk about a toxic relationship, it could mean from any relationship which is affecting you in some way or the other. So in today's video, I will tell you about 5 important signs to look for which shows that you are in a toxic relationship. Sign 1. Sense of self-doubt and self-blame. When you're in a toxic relationship, what happens is that the vibration between the two people, you and the other person, is such that somehow you always end up feeling that whatever other problems that are happening in the relationship or in life in general is because of you yourself. Have you ever felt that? That is the first sign. As a result, what happens is that we stop doing self-care. You'll probably start gaining weight. You'll probably start having frizzy hair. You'll probably not eat well. These are all signs that there's something wrong in life. Sign number 2, use of your weaknesses and personal information against you. In a toxic relationship, what happens is that the other person uses your weak points or something which you've shared only in confidence with that person against you to somehow make you feel down in life. I'll give you an example. Past relationships. If your partner or your significant other is actually using your past relationships to make you feel that you are not giving your best into this relationship or you have these problems as a person, they are actually trying to manipulate you in some way or the other. Be wary of such instances. Sign number 3, isolation or control. Typically what happens is that in a toxic relationship, the other person isolates you from the people who give you strength in some form or the other. For example, if your partner is keeping you away from your family and your friends and trying to keep you only with his or her family and his or her friends, there is a red flag. This is done so that you lose your support system and are more dependent on that person for your mental well-being. Now the tricky part is that most of us being in that situation feel that it is just possessiveness, it is just out of love. But that is where the whole catch is. It is not love, it is not possessiveness. It is just trying to keep somebody in your control so that they think what you want them to think. It is extremely difficult to even figure out that you are into such a relationship. But once you figure out and when you come out of it, that is when you realize you were being so stupid. In situations like this, specific instances also happen. For example, the other person will try to probably create some sort of negativity between you and your family or your friends or other support system. If you think some things like this, some incidences like this are happening, be wary that you might be into a toxic relationship. Sign number 4, lack of trust. Now, this is something which you need to just ask yourself. Do you feel that you cannot trust this person for your own well-being? Do you feel that you cannot trust this person for your happiness and your aspirations in life? If yes, probably you are into a toxic relationship. Sign number 5, stagnation and perpetual negativity. When you feel that you have sort of stopped growing in life, whether it is personally or professionally, that is a red flag. If you feel that constantly what you are getting from the other person is negativity, complaints, whining, what all bad things are happening in the world. If you're constantly fighting for yourself, fighting for your self-respect, fighting for your self-esteem, and fighting for your own being in every conversation that you're having with that person, that is another red flag. If you that you're being constantly put down, and there is a sort of a superiority and inferiority complex that is being built between the two people, that is sure shot a red flag. So it is important to understand one thing about this though, that having a challenger in life is a good thing, because a challenger tries to bring out the best in you, tries to figure out, okay, this is how you can become better, this is how you can improve in life, this is how you can become successful. But there is a borderline difference between that who is a challenger and that who constantly brings negativity to your life. So if a person tries to bring out constructive ways that you can improve yourself, that is a challenger. But if a person constantly brings out negativity without any solutions, without any actionable solutions, that is where probably there is a problem. Were you able to identify yourself with any of these signs? If yes, give it more thought. The most important thing about being in a toxic relationship is to understand, realize, and accept that you're into one. That is your first victory. Second is to figure out, how do I even come out of it? What do I do? For now, probably I can give you a few quick steps that you can take to come out of this situation. An important tip is that at this point in time, when you are feeling downtrodden and lonely in life, having a very good support system is very, very important. Keep your family, good friends, and people who think good about you close to you, and have a good conversation with them. Keep them informed about what you're feeling. Now, the second advice that comes, you might find it slightly difficult to understand, but it is very, very important. Especially in these situations, especially when you're in a toxic relationship, it is important to take advice from people who are in a happy zone in their life right now. What I mean by this is that different people, even though they are extremely concerned about you, they may not be the best people to give you advice at a particular point in time. If you are in a happy zone in life, you will probably be in the best situation and more neutral than anybody else out there to give an unaffected, unattached solution or advice to somebody. When you do the step 1 and 2, that is, have a support system and realize that you are in a toxic relationship, immediately cut off your ties. That is the most easily said, but the most difficult to do. If you don't get out of a toxic relationship, you will never even figure out that you are into one, and you will end up wasting more and more time of your life. Okay. One thing which you need to realize is you can never change a person. Especially when you are in a toxic relationship for a long period of time, it has been for a reason. You cannot change that person. Point blank. What is the solution? Come out of it. Come out of it, and probably then, if you still feel that there is something going back to the relationship, that's a different vision that you see it from. But your first step should be come out of the relationship, cut off your ties from this toxic relationship. Being out of one will do you more good than being in one and suffering throughout your life. As soon as you come out of a toxic relationship, very, very important to engage yourself in constructive activities in life, and also try to spend time with people who are in their happy zones. The more positive you are inside, somehow you start attracting all the positive things from the universe. This is something which you might want to test for yourself, but I'm telling you from my experiences. If you feel negative, somehow all negative things will come to you. If you feel positives, somehow things will happen fine in life. I don't know how, I don't know what happens, I don't know what destiny does, but there is something out there which tends to attract like a magnet. And the last step, which I don't really need to tell you, but if you are out of a toxic relationship, it will automatically happen, and that is self-care. Start going to the gym. Start wanting to look good. Start meeting people. Once you start meeting people, trust me, the whole impetus to start looking good kind of increases. It is not about vanity, but it is just about feeling good about yourself. Start doing things which you had stopped doing for a while. If you love writing, start doing that. If you love traveling, who's stopping you? If you love to read books, please take out that time. So I hope this video was useful. I hope it kind of connected with you in some way or the other. And I hope the solutions that I have also talked about helps you in some way or the other. Do write into us. Do give your feedback. If you like me to talk about any other topic that you want to hear about, please do tell.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.